This is the Louisiana Hometown Network, bringing you public information, coverage of the monthly meeting of the Louisiana Board of Regents for Higher Education and the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, also known as BESSE.
This ordinance is necessary because our people are dying 4 times the national average due to chronic illness, cancer, heart disease, and our city is ran off of tourism, and the majority of our employees in this city are working in the industry, and we need to protect their lives. We need to protect the quality of their lives and their environment in which they work.
So I came here today to support the smoke-free ordinance for the city of New Orleans, and it's important to me because I feel like the employees of the hospitality and service industries who are so exposed to secondhand smoke, they're the parents of the kids that I talk with every day. And I am a huge advocate of healthy living and think that it's important that we provide those healthy environments.
Do you have any personal attachment to this issue?
Yes, I was a college athlete, so healthy living is a huge cornerstone of my life. But personally, I lost my grandmother to lung cancer as a result of smoking. So I'm a huge advocate to put any sort of end to smoking and exposure to secondhand smoke and be as instrumental as I can. Hello, my name is Lacey Sanchez, and I am Miss Louisiana 2014, and I fully support a smoke-free ordinance. We know that secondhand smoke causes lung disease, cancer, and stroke, and we also know that secondhand smoke is extremely prevalent in hospitality and service industries. And when I think about the hardworking employees of these industries, I am constantly reminded that these are the mothers and the fathers of the children I interact with every single day. As Miss Louisiana, I have the privilege to go into schools and talk with our young students and impress upon them the importance of healthy living. These students are our future, but we cannot expect them to live a healthy lifestyle if we are not first, as adults, setting that example. Furthermore, healthy employees means more productive employees, it means more reliable employees, and employees who are less expensive to insure. So to put all of this into one idea for you, I am asking you to do one thing. I'm asking you to invest in the human capital of the people of New Orleans. When you invest in the people of New Orleans, you are investing in the future and the overall welfare of the entire city of New Orleans. Thank you.
Thank you. Stella?
Good morning, everybody. Greetings and solutions. My name is John Moore, and I reside in Uptown New Orleans. I'm a lifelong resident of this great city. Many of you know me as Deacon John, the musician, the actor. I was on Treme too, and entertainer. I'm also president of the New Orleans Musicians Union, and we all know the difference between a bass player and a drummer. It's a half a beat. But seriously, folks, and all jokes aside, I'm here today to demonstrate my support for the smoke-free ordinance being proposed here today. A lot of you have seen me on billboards, TV commercials that illustrate my dedication and passion for healthier air for all of us. I'm extremely concerned about the health risks to people who must work in bars, lounges, casinos, and venues that expose them to the environment of secondhand smoke. These are the bartenders, waiters, the dancers, the musicians, and other persons who work in the service industry. My primary concern is the health of these people who are the backbone of the businesses who contribute to the economy of our city. And personally, I am sick and tired of witnessing our beloved musicians and artists suffering and dying from the detrimental effects of secondhand smoke. I have sang at their funerals. Many of them are standard bearers of the indigenous culture that we all love so dearly. Some of those who are still suffering are in this very room today. You've heard the brilliant testimony from the medical and business expert. I could not agree with them more. My dear friends of mine, June Gardner, Tommy Ridgely, Johnny Adams, Jesse Hill, Lee Dorsey, Chuck, I could go on and on, all the people, who have suffered and died from the detrimental effects of secondhand smoke and from smoking too. Now is the time for our city leaders to come together and do something to improve the lives of our workers in music, film, culinary arts, visual and performing arts. And let's not forget about the patrons who come out to support arts and entertainment.
Thank you.
Councilperson, I have one more thing. I beg you, please, don't let the smoke get in your eyes. After all, it's so clear to see we all want healthier air for all. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you. Ronald Markham.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
As you can see, secondhand smoke has caused me to lose half of my vocal cord. And this is a lifetime situation with me because it's a 24-hour and I have to actually check myself, and it's awfully expensive. And I'm for banning smoking anywhere, not just the bars, all because there's another place that's very harmful to kids and babies. And I think that's child abuse when you're in that environment and your family smoke it. My other concern is smoking at the bus shelters, because there's no difference. You may have 2 seats, 3 or 4, but if 2 people sit down on the opposite sides, you get that smoke. And I'm telling you, also, our senior citizens don't have a chance when they sit in that area, because the first blow of smoke is okay, but when they rest their elbows on their knees and you see that smoke over your thick cloud that goes into your nose, and it will affect your lungs. So, what I'm saying now, do not vote against the ban for political purposes or monetary, because you're voting against death.
Thank you, Mr. Eustace. Good morning.
Good morning. I think I stand here on the shoulders of many great artists, not just musicians, great thinkers, people that participate and have worked hard for centuries to make this city a great city. And we're in a creative business. We need the same type of healthy environment that every other professional needs to be able to do their job and be able to do it well. And I'll just say it clearly one time, it is a better environment if it's a healthy environment. And a healthy environment is the best environment for our creative community. It's the best environment for our musicians. It's the best environment for the elder statesmen who've been playing, like Ellis Marcellus, to those who are now at the height of their careers, like a trombone shorty, to the next kids who are coming up who will be the next Louis Armstrongs, Jelly Roll Mortons, and Sidney Bechet's. So we support, from a musician standpoint, a smoke-free New Orleans, Louisiana.
Thank you. Happy belated birthday.
We thank you for taking up such an important issue as secondhand smoke and prohibiting in workplaces, restaurants, bars, casinos. Over 50% of the nation currently have laws and ordinances on the books protecting folks from secondhand smoke. As a lung association employee, I've seen folks that deal with lung disease from secondhand smoke exposure who have never smoked a day in their life. Today you're going to hear from a group of panelists that'll tell you about the health effects, the Surgeon General's report, America's Doctor who put out a report about the harms of secondhand smoke. You're going to hear how it's good for business. You're going to hear how it's good for the city. You're going to hear how it's just good for health. So with that, I will turn it over to Cynthia Hallett.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Cynthia Hallett. I am the Executive Director of Americans for Non-Smokers' Rights. We are a member-based, nonprofit public health advocacy organization established in 1976. We're based in Berkeley, California, but we have members across the U.S. and internationally, including many here in New Orleans. Americans for Non-Smokers' Rights strongly supports this proposal to protect all workers from exposure to secondhand smoke and secondhand aerosol by eliminating smoking in bars and in the casino. As Jennifer said, nearly 50% of the U.S. population is protected by a local or state law, making their workplaces, restaurants, and bars 100% smoke-free without exception. 20 states include casinos in their smoke-free workplace laws. And dozens of tribal casinos have voluntarily made their establishments smoke-free. In total, there are at least 510 100% smoke-free gambling facilities and casinos across the U.S., and many countries also have smoke-free casinos included in their smoke-free laws. 3 states and 274 municipalities prohibit the use of electronic smoking devices like e-cigarettes, vape pens, e-hookah, etc. in smoke-free environments. The inclusion of electronic smoking devices in smoke-free laws does not prevent or prohibit electronic cigarettes in their entirety, but it does prevent a new form of indoor air pollution in these otherwise smoke-free environments. Now, some might argue that all gamblers smoke, a familiar argument that we heard in the 90s when the public started to demand smoke-free bars. It was not true then, and it's not true now. In fact, there was a 2008 study conducted for the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Bureau by Spectrum Gaming Group in New Jersey that found that among the 3,000 visitors surveyed, 23.5% of them smoked, which mirrored the smoking prevalence at that time in 2008. This corroborates other studies that have been done in Reno, Nevada, and with the Lac de Flambeau tribe in Wisconsin that essentially find that 4 out of 5 gamblers do not smoke. Going smoke-free means opening your doors to new customers who do not smoke and who won't frequent smoke-filled bars and casinos. Smokers are welcome. We just ask them to take it outside, along with electronic cigarette use as well. While patrons would benefit from the smoke-free law, these sound public health measures are about protecting worker health and safety to prevent exposure to known carcinogens and cancer-causing poisons in tobacco smoke, and the new findings about the particulates, chemicals, and carcinogens in electronic smoking devices. Now, some may try to persuade the council that e-smoking devices just contain vapor mist. It's water vapor. Unfortunately, more studies are coming out that document these products are not simply water or vapor mist. In fact, ASHRAE, the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers, an international ventilation standards setting body, published a study in June 2014 about the hazards of electronic cigarettes, which states, and I quote, "Electronic cigarettes do not produce a vapor, but rather a dense, visible aerosol of liquid submicron droplets consisting of glycols, nicotine, and other chemicals, some of which are carcinogens such as formaldehyde, metals like cadmium, lead, and nickel, and nitrosamines." ASHRAE concludes that, quote, "E-cigarettes emit harmful chemicals into the air and need to be regulated in the same manner as tobacco smoke." In fact, ASHRAE's current ventilation standard for indoor air quality is based on a 100% smoke-free environment, since the 2006 and the 2010 Surgeon General's report stated there is no risk-free level of exposure to secondhand smoke. Again, we strongly support
the name of the organization that did
that's
that.
ASHRAE, the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers.
Thank you.
Thank you. So again, we at Americans for Non-Smokers' Rights, on behalf of our members, strongly support this proposal to make New Orleans a 100% smoke-free city in all of its bars and the casino, including tobacco and electronic smoking devices. These laws are popular with the public. These laws are good for health and good for business. Thank you.
Thank you. Doctor.
Good morning, council members.
Good morning.
My name's Kyle Happel. I'm one of the pulmonary faculty members at the LSU School of Medicine right here in New Orleans. I'd like to share with you some scientific facts about the effects of secondhand smoke and the proven medical consequences of it. Secondhand smoke is estimated to cause 50,000 deaths annually in the United States alone. Most of these deaths occur at the hand of a 30% increase in heart disease, as seen in non-smokers who are exposed to secondhand smoke. What many do not know is that even brief exposure to secondhand smoke can increase the risk of a heart attack by causing platelets in the blood to clump together and stop blood flow in the heart. So with that in mind, I have a bit of free medical advice for my Saints fans who might happen to have heart disease. If you're going to watch any of the 2015 Saints games in a bar, it's probably best to choose a bar that's not filled with secondhand smoke. Since there is no safe level of secondhand smoke, and we know that there is a dose effect of secondhand smoke on disease, it is important for our leaders to know where the highest levels of secondhand smoke occur. Air quality sampling studies have shown that the levels of secondhand smoke in bars are 2 to 5 times higher than in homes of smokers and 2 to 6 times higher than in any other workplace. And speaking of workplaces, it is important to remember who is at most risk for secondhand smoke exposure: those who actually work in bars. Bartenders, food servers, beverage industry workers, and of course in New Orleans, our talented musicians. As a lung doctor at the LSU Health Sciences Center, I have had the privilege of caring for many of our local musicians. Here is what the seasoned artists tell me about their bar performances. Smoking, and unintended smoking by way of breathing secondhand smoke, interferes with their ability to sing and play their instruments. In their own words, they're often just not right when performing in an environment that is filled with secondhand smoke. We are intensely focused on preserving our jazz and blues cultural heritage in New Orleans and have devoted significant funds and efforts to do so. I would argue to you that preserving our living and breathing musicians by freeing them from the burden of secondhand smoke would be a smart decision and support their ability to keep the music playing and to pass it on to future generations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Bill Oliver. I'm appearing before the committee today as a representative of Ochsner Health System. I'm also an Orleans Parish bar owner. I've been one for over 10 years. I'm a business leader that's been involved in economic development in this area for over 20 years. I'm a cancer survivor, and as an individual, I'm here to express my support for the Smoke-Free Air Act ordinance introduced by Councilmember Latoya Cantrell. I would like to thank Councilmember Cantrell and the members of this committee for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. It was more than 75 years ago, right here in this region, when Dr. Alton Ochsner and a partner were the first to link tobacco use with lung cancer. In the nearly 8 decades since their groundbreaking article was published, our knowledge about the dangers of tobacco has only increased. Today, we know there is no such thing as a safe cigarette, and that the dangers of smoking extend well beyond the smokers themselves. And just as there is no such thing as a safe cigarette, there is also no risk-free level of exposure to secondhand smoke. Just like smokers, those who breathe in secondhand smoke are inhaling thousands of chemicals, including hundreds that are toxic and approximately 70 that can cause cancer. In fact, since 1964, 2.5 million non-smokers have died from exposure from secondhand smoke. With these statistics in mind and the fact that people who work in bars and gaming facilities are exposed to 300% to 600% more secondhand smoke than any other type of employee, it's obvious that many of our city services industry workers are putting themselves in harm's way by just going to work every day. As someone who owns a bar, I understand that enacting this ordinance will be a significant change, but I believe it's a change that many customers will appreciate and many families will be thankful for. And by treating all businesses the same way, the ordinance will give our bars and casinos the ability to more easily make a common sense, healthy change. At Ochsner, we have understood the detrimental effects of smoking for decades. As a company, we incentivize employees who refrain from tobacco use. We provide support for those that want to quit and voluntarily made every one of our facilities and all of our grounds smoke-free. But Ochsner has also grown its employee base in Orleans Parish over the last 2 years. Over 1,500 employees have come to work in Orleans in this smoke-free environment. I will tell you the economy can prosper in a smoke-free environment, and today there's more access to health care in Orleans Parish than we've had in the last 8 years. Our physicians take care of the patients suffering with disease brought about by tobacco use and comfort the families of those patients who succumb to those illnesses. As a cancer survivor who has done a year of chemotherapy, even after 25 years today, I choose to help even one single person or one family the opportunity to avoid that experience. As healthcare providers, we have sought to be a leader on this critical issue because we know firsthand the absolute devastating consequences of tobacco use. I applaud Councilmember Cantrell's efforts on this important topic, and I encourage this committee and the rest of the council to work together to help us become a healthier and safer community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
Good morning, council members. My name is Joe Kimball. I'm the CEO of the Louisiana Public Health Institute, and we're the implementing agent for the statewide tobacco-free living program in partnership with the Louisiana Cancer Research Center. We know that tobacco, from a public health perspective, is the leading cause of early death and disability, not only in the United States, but also in Louisiana. In fact, in Louisiana, we have about 6,500 Louisianians die each year as a result of tobacco smoking-related causes. We also know, and I'm sure many of us know, we've had family members and friends in our friend circle who have died prematurely due to tobacco-related illness. We think of this ordinance as primarily about protecting the health of the workers, and of which there are about 5,000 workers in bars and casinos throughout the city of New Orleans, and protecting them, but as well as the patrons and the musicians and entertainers who are in these establishments. In fact, these workers, entertainers, have no choice but to breathe smoke-filled air. In fact, non-smoking employees in our bars and casinos essentially are forced to be smokers due to how much secondhand smoke they breathe during every shift that they work. The Louisiana Public Health Institute is strongly in support of this ordinance and is most appreciative of Councilwoman Cantrell for championing this cause to improve the health and well-being of our city.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year and Happy Carnival. It's great to be here again once before you. I'm Tanya Moore, the Associate Director of the Louisiana Campaign for Tobacco-Free Living, and we are a statewide organization dedicated to preventing people from secondhand smoke exposure and educating folks around this beautiful state on the dangers of tobacco use and secondhand smoke. And so over the last 10 years, we have really educated this community. And so when I mean community, I mean every sector: youth, young adults, faith-based, community organizations. We've worked with businesses. We've worked with bars. We've worked with bar workers and casino workers as well. And we've worked with elected leaders in this community to talk about the seriousness and the impact of secondhand smoke in the work environment. And so we thank you again for having us here. And we also brought along a couple of friends and family members in the audience today who also support this effort. So over the last 9.5 years, this beautiful city has made many strides in trying to become and improve the city to become more progressive. Well, this is another progressive move and step that we need to take. And so all the while preserving the traditions, the history, and the culture of this great city. But we want to do it in a more healthier fashion, in a healthier way, which our campaign, most people have seen the Healthier Air for All campaign. We've been talking about this quite a bit. However, we still have a long way to go to close the health disparities gap among our residents. We have to provide healthy work environments to work in. And so did you know that in Louisiana, 27% of Louisianians are exposed to secondhand smoke, and these are non-smokers. And so when we started looking at the people in that population, we saw that over 50% of that population are African Americans. And we're talking about our local bar and casino workers, people that may even be sitting in this chamber right now, don't realize that how much they're impacted and that they are affected. And so that's unacceptable. So providing smoke-free environments is a matter of public safety and public health. There is no reason that industries, and I say that again, industries should determine the fate of our city. for it to become healthy. They too should join the advocates and promote and provide healthier environments. We have to protect our workforce. Do you know how hard it is, email and letters and phone calls that we receive from bar workers? We receive from casino workers saying, we can't do anything because we don't want to lose our job. We get those emails, and that's why we advocate on behalf of these groups here. And so we want you all to also help protect these a little over 5,000 employees in the city of New Orleans. And so this is the part of our work that motivates us, and to think just once that we have one shot to get this right. Just maybe we can stand up for the people who work in this great city and not be influenced by industry and interest. This is a humanitarian issue, this is a public safety issue and health issue. And there are benefits for both employees and employers to provide healthy workplaces. And over the last 4 years, we've conducted various research projects and collected data right here in New Orleans. This is not secondhand information or research conducted in other cities. These are local projects conducted right here in our backyard. Therefore, it has a certain richness, and it resonates why we're here today to talk about this. And you all should have some packets in front of you, some data briefs that we've provided for you. My colleague, Dr. Tom Carton, who's the Director of Analytics for the Louisiana Public Health Institute, will go over these. And I thank you, and we hope you are in full support.
Thank you.
First off, I'd like to thank the committee for allowing us to speak to you today, and Dr. Cantrell for introducing the ordinance. I'd also like to thank my colleagues at this table who spoke before me and spoke very eloquently about the research that has been done nationally and internationally on the dangers of smoking and secondhand smoke. As Ms. Moore indicated, I am going to talk a little bit today about some of the original research that we've conducted at the Louisiana Public Health Institute here in the state of Louisiana that will help influence the decision-making, outlining the potential economic and health impacts of a smoke-free ordinance in the city of New Orleans. At Jazz Fest of 2012, our campaign conducted a survey, an intercept survey of Jazz Fest attendees. We essentially stood at 3 separate strategic spots of entry points to the fairgrounds and intercepted patrons as they were walking in from out of state, and asked them their attitudes and opinions related to smoke-free environments both in their home states and the potential impact on their behavior of a smoke-free act in New Orleans. And what we found was that according to these Jazz Fest attendees, there would be really no impact of Jazz Fest tourism on if a smoke-free ordinance was enacted in the city of New Orleans. In fact, we asked a direct question: would a smoke-free policy for bars and facilities make you more or less likely to visit the city? And 4% said it would make them less likely.
So I know people that work in the service industry, hospitality industry, whether it's as a bartender or a waitress, and they're exposed to secondhand smoke. So that's my peers, and it's very important for me to be able to advocate for them and get a healthy environment, workplace for them.
Your reaction to the people here in support of the ordinance, including Miss Louisiana?
Oh, look, the support is phenomenal. It just shows us that it is time to move our city truly in the right direction and not just talking about it, but walking it. This is about the safety, the health of our people, our employees, our musicians, our families. And we're behind the 8 ball right now. So this is an exciting time for this city because New Orleans is standing up for what's right for its own people.
We're here today because the American Tort Reform Association released their annual ranking of judicial hellholes across the country. And Louisiana ranked number 7 on that list of the worst places in the country to be sued.
And what kind of an impact does this have on the average person?
Sure. Well, the good news about the rankings is that Louisiana has moved down in the rankings. We've improved over last year's number 2 spot ranking. The bad news, of course, is that we're still on the list at number 7. And that's bad news for regardless of where you are in Louisiana. If you're a small business owner, that's a signal that you're at a high risk of being sued. If you're a doctor or a teacher, you're at a high risk of being sued. And if you're driving a car on your way home from work one day and you get into a fender bender, you're at a pretty high risk of being sued. There's no question that Louisiana has a very difficult legal climate and a lot of excessive litigation. Judicial hellholes are the worst places in the country to be sued. Essentially, they're places where judges systematically apply the law and procedures in an unfair and an unbalanced manner. You know, as citizens and members of society, we expect from our judicial system for judges and juries to look at the facts of the case and decide and provide justice based on those facts. What you don't want is a system of impartiality and unbalance. You don't want a situation where judges have relationships with lawyers who are practicing before them. Lawyers on either side, be it plaintiffs' lawyers or defense attorneys. You don't want improper relationships between judges and lawyers influencing the outcome of cases. And unfortunately, there are some very high-profile examples of that happening here in Louisiana, and that's one of the main reasons why we're on the judicial hellholes list this year. Obviously, that's not the kind of behavior we like to see from our judges. We hold our judges to a very high standard of ethical conduct, and the Supreme Court does as well. Judge Robin Free ended up with a what I would consider to be a slap on the wrist sanction of a 30-day suspension, and he had to pay back a few $1,000s to the Judiciary Commission. We'd like to see fewer instances of judges and plaintiffs' lawyers having close relationships, and we'd also like to see the Supreme Court be more assertive in exercising their oversight authority when instances like that present themselves.
Where does Louisiana rank compared to other states?
Unfortunately, Louisiana has been consistently ranked as one of the poorest states in the country when it comes to our legal climate. Obviously, the judicial hellholes ranking is a big part of that. Since the American Tort Reform Association started this annual ranking of hellholes across the country in 2002, Louisiana has never escaped inclusion in the report. In addition to that, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has issued its report on state legal climates for several years. We've always been ranked number 48th or 49th at the very bottom of their list. And there are numerous other national and state surveys that rank states based on their legal climate, and Louisiana consistently ranks poorly in all categories. This can be difficult criticism to hear and to interpret, but the consistency of these rankings sends a very clear message that we've got to work harder to improve Louisiana's legal climate.
What kind of an impact does this have on jobs in Louisiana?
Well, that's the most significant aspect of these judicial hellhole rankings. As we know from talking to small business owners and larger companies that a state's legal climate is a significant factor when they're considering whether or not they should open up a business or whether to expand a business or relocate a business from another state. Small businesses look at the state legal climate and they know that one lawsuit or one runaway jury can absolutely put them out of business. We have several supporters who are in that position right now. We also know that that energy producers in Louisiana, in particular, are under fire from a very aggressive trial bar, who's brought a very aggressive litigation in recent years. And so that's a significant factor when companies are deciding where to place their investments, where to create new jobs. They look at that and they say, well, maybe we should go to another state that has at least a fair and impartial legal climate where if we find ourselves in litigation, we know we're going to get a fair shake.
What's the answer? What needs to be done in Louisiana?
Sure. We need more reform. The legislature did a great job this year. Earlier in 2014 legislative session, looking at some of the most significant issues that are of interest to supporters of legal reform and small business owners across the state. One of the major pieces of legislation we passed this year put an end to the buddy system. Prior to our reform legislation, it was perfectly legal for the state attorney general to hand out highly lucrative contracts to anyone he wanted, mostly his campaign contributors, to lawyers to do work on behalf of the state. We put the reform bill that we passed put an end to that practice. It will provide the reform bill that we passed will provide oversight on the hiring practices of individuals who are doing work on behalf of the state in litigation, and we'll also put a cap on the maximum hourly rates that they can charge the state when they're working on our behalf. And those are the kinds of reforms that will help, that are helping to improve Louisiana's legal climate. Those are the kinds of reforms that help inspire public confidence in our judiciary. And those are the kinds of reforms that will help us get off of this judicial hellholes list once and for all.
Tell us about the legislative priorities for your organization in 2015.
Sure. Another major reform that we hope to pass in 2015 is an effort to lower Louisiana's jury trial threshold. This is an example of a unique law that only exists in Louisiana that effectively limits citizen access to the civil justice system. This is an arbitrary barrier of $50,000, whereby if you are involved in litigation for less than $50,000, your case is automatically decided by a judge rather than a jury of your peers. And it's known in the legal circle as the jury trial threshold. We'd like to pass a bill to eliminate that jury trial threshold to give citizens greater access to our courts. And that will also help to rein in excessive litigation in Louisiana. You know, we have some of the highest automobile insurance rates in the country, and certainly the jury trial threshold and the excessive litigation that it allows is a huge part of that. We'd like to eliminate that jury trial threshold, rein in excessive litigation, and help to make Louisiana's legal climate fairer for everyone. It'll have an impact on just about everybody's pocketbook.
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
Sure. If they'd like to learn more about the Judicial Hellholes Report, they can visit judicialhellholes.org. And if they'd like to learn more about our work to improve the state's legal climate, they can visit us online at llaw.org.
In 1974, the Louisiana Public Facilities Authority made a commitment to the citizens of our state to utilize our capabilities and resources to further education, healthcare, economic development, and job creation to make Louisiana a better place to live and work. For the past 40 years, the LPFA has strived to fulfill that promise, funding the future of Louisiana with a renewed commitment each year forward through everything we do. The LPFA was created in 1974 by a private corporation as a public trust, a self-supporting organization that serves as a conduit issuer of both taxable and tax-exempt bonds for qualifying public and private entities. LPFA's services have been valuable to many organizations by helping them to secure capital for a wide range of projects that have had a positive impact on the lives of virtually every man, woman, and child in Louisiana. As we celebrate our 40th anniversary, we can proudly say that we have helped secure almost $24 billion in financing to build everything from hospitals and schools to housing and manufacturing facilities, plus a long list of projects that have helped to stimulate the state's economy and make higher education more accessible and affordable. The LPFA's first issuance of $7.7 million in bonds was for St. Charles General Hospital in New Orleans in 1974, a project that not only improved the healthcare facility and increased the level of care provided to its patients, but led to the creation of 450 permanent jobs. We've never looked back. In fact, we've helped provide funds that have been used to improve access to state-of-the-art healthcare in almost every Louisiana parish.
Our Lady of the Lake is the largest healthcare facility in the state of Louisiana. We have approximately 800 beds and over 35,000 admissions per year. And really, without the assistance of LPFA, we wouldn't be able to do some of the projects that we've been able to accomplish over the last 5 years, namely our Heart and Vascular Institute, which was a 330,000 square foot addition to our main campus here.
Our Lady of the Lake in Baton Rouge, Lafayette General, Christus Shumpert and Willis Knighton in Shreveport, Touro in New Orleans, Byrd Memorial in Vernon Parish. The list of hospitals and clinics, as well as long-term care facilities in every corner of the state, goes on and on. Through the LPFA's involvement, not only have healthcare facilities improved, but so have the health outcomes for literally thousands of patients statewide. Providing better healthcare facilities certainly benefits those who seek medical treatment. Learning what causes diseases and other critical health conditions, and then determining the best course of action to treat, and more importantly, how to prevent medical conditions, has continued to remain important to the LPFA. It is essential to ensuring that citizens have access to the knowledge and tools they need to live better, longer. Critical to its mission, the LPFA has and continues to support medical research as it seeks to explore these issues. The Pennington Biomedical Research Center is just one example.
We've had a wonderful 25-year relationship with the LPFA, starting back literally to the first days when we opened our doors here at Pennington Biomedical. The LPFA joined us at that time, providing the funds that allowed us to recruit the first executive director for the center and really to start building a research center filled with scientists and research.
What is happening at Pennington, as well as the research facilities at the LSU Health Sciences Center, Tulane University, and others, is not only having an impact on the lives of Louisianans, but on the lives of people across the nation and around the world.
They have been a trusted partner with us throughout the years, so whether it was funding for research to initiate that, whether it was to help us recruit some of the best minds and scientists here, or whether it was to help us literally build new facilities for our scientists, LPFA has been the best partner for us.
The resources of the LPFA have also been utilized to strengthen our educational facilities and the opportunities they provide to students across the educational spectrum.
The confidence grew between ourselves and LPFA, and it's made a difference. There's not a question about it that it has made a difference to where this LSU as a system is today.
The LSU, Southern, and University of Louisiana systems, Loyola, Tulane, Centenary, Dillard, Xavier, the value of these important educational assets have all been increased due to the relationships they've built with the LPFA and our ability to respond to their unique needs.
I can say without any question that had we not had LPFA's assistance, we would not have gotten to where we are today. We could not have afforded the interest rates and principal payments at the time, and LPFA came in with us to help us modify what we were going to be paying every year. And as our enrollment grew, it made it possible for us to make those payments as they were coming due. And it was just an alternative that we needed, and it came about at a great time for all of us.
Certainly, higher education has been a benefactor of the special bond financing and grant programs fostered by LPFA. But in recent years, LPFA has also become actively involved in securing capital for numerous elementary and secondary educational facilities across the state. Supporting improved health care and education is clearly a part of our mission. But supporting efforts to provide affordable housing for those facing substandard options is equally relevant to our goal of improving the overall well-being of Louisianans. Funds secured through the LPFA's access to bond markets have been used to construct modern apartments and other housing units that provide modern, safe living environments for families and individuals of all ages. They're found in Monroe, Alexandria, Lake Charles, every major metropolitan area, as well as small towns and communities throughout the state. Over the past 40 years, literally hundreds of industrial and manufacturing projects have found needed capital to jumpstart their efforts and create jobs through the LPFA's bond issuing resources. LPFA funding has helped build and expand refining, chemical and wood product manufacturing facilities, agricultural services, telecommunications operations, commercial transportation centers, and improved electric generating and distribution capabilities. These have all provided excellent employment opportunities, strengthened the tax base for vital government services, and improved overall economic conditions in Louisiana, a rising tide that lifts all boats. The LPFA also provided funding for municipal and parish-wide water systems and sewage treatment projects, expanded fire protection capabilities, and helped finance numerous other public infrastructure improvements that all serve the public at substantial cost savings to the sponsoring entities. Notable, too, was the key role the LPFA played in saving the state's unemployment compensation program with a $1.3 billion bond issue and the massive effort to secure financing for post-Katrina and post-Rita reconstruction. All that the LPFA has accomplished is simply a preview of what's to come, a continuation of the same commitment to funding Louisiana's future. That future includes the support of venues in which new ideas and entrepreneurship can be fostered.
We wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for the LPFA, because they did put in the initial money for the study and the initial money for renovating the first building that we had on the LSU campus. Now that we're located at the LSU Innovation Park, they have also been funding our operations, helping us pay for graduate students who can work with the companies here at the Business and Technology Center, as well as helping us with our mobile classroom, which is our 18-wheeler, the mobile classroom where we go into the rural communities of Louisiana and help these businesses grow.
Every day, business incubators supported by the LPFA ignite exceptional and innovative economic development that starts right here in Louisiana.
When many entities talk about economic development and mention how they want to help, the LPFA put their money where their mouth is, and they basically have funded economic development.
As the Louisiana economy grows, so does the need for a well-educated workforce. The LPFA's role to assure that opportunities created will be opportunities fulfilled is found in the Louisiana Education Loan Authority, the education division of the LPFA. What began as a way to make college more affordable for Louisiana students has evolved into a source of information and assistance with college planning and financial aid. In its 30 years as a nonprofit education loan provider, LILA helped Louisiana students obtain more than $2.4 billion in low-interest college loans, putting college within reach for more than 400,000 Louisiana students and saving them over $57 million in interest payments and upfront fees, with the potential to save more than $157 million. Further, when Louisiana's need to attract and retain qualified teachers and nurses came to the forefront, LILA sprung into action, offering zero-interest college loans to certified or licensed graduates. The Help Teachers and Help Nurses program resulted in significant monthly savings to recipients at no cost to the state.
I think that the Help Teachers program has definitely helped me to appreciate everything that I have. When we first started teaching, my husband and I, having the interest waived was really important for us in just starting our careers, starting a family, and we're very grateful for it.
Since shifting from its role as an education loan provider, LILA has become a major partner in the effort to increase college attainment in Louisiana. the small but dedicated LILA team travels the state, conducting workshops, helping high school students and parents complete financial aid forms, and assisting school counselors. It also provides information through the Ask LILA website, newsletters, and social media. LILA has also become the go-to organization for college scholarships. Through contests and drawings, LILA awards some $50,000 in scholarships each year. It recently opened a college planning center in Baton Rouge, where students can meet with advisors and access LILA resources for free. The LPFA's continued support of students in education through LILA's efforts results from its recognition that increasing post-secondary education is critical to Louisiana's economic prosperity. Everything we've done, every bond issue, every grant, every presentation to students and parents has been guided by a deep and sincere belief that the outcome must have a positive and lasting impact on as many people as possible. We firmly believe that by partnering with the entities we've had the privilege of serving, by helping design and structure programs that match their unique needs, by working together instead of interfering, each outcome has indeed exceeded our expectations.
Over the years, LPFA has always achieved or been able to work with us very closely and achieving our goals of being able to get access to capital. And I think the structure, the personnel that they have is really first class. And to be able to work very closely with the whole leadership team to accomplish our capital needs is terrific.
Things that are very important to them, education, health care, economic development, job creation, those are things that at Pennington Biomedical we're very proud to represent those things as well. So their efforts, either through Pennington Biomedical or across the state, I think really help to reinforce things that are very important about making Louisiana a great state to live in and to work in.
LPFA has become a cornerstone for the future. Once again, I can only speak for the LSU system, but for the future of the many institutions which I believe they've supported over the years.
It's always good to say you're going to help the economy of your state and your city. And LPFA provided that 40 years ago, and I think there is still need for it today. And I'd encourage anybody who is in need of long-term funding that LPFA is one source that should be certainly looked at and discussed.
In my opinion, the LPFA has been a major economic development force in the state of Louisiana over those 40 years. We have ongoing programs with the MBA graduate students who actually act as consultants to a lot of the companies here in the incubator and through our outreach programs. And then again, the mobile classroom, which travels around the state and offers the services of LSU and business counseling and all these different support services to these rural communities and underserved communities. So certainly we want the LPFA to continue to be a partner, and we want to be a partner with the LPFA.
We are extremely proud of our accomplishments over the past 40 years. It has been an amazing journey. We have helped and will continue to build and enrich the future of Louisiana. The journey continues.
We have such a fantastic board, probably one of the best boards I've ever served on. It's very cooperative and very friendly. And we have, Bubba Raspberry has produced a great platform from which we can build with Dr. Rallo to lead us now. We're very excited about working with him, working with the governor, working with the legislature to have some big goals in 2015. First, we need to enhance our academic programs in order to meet our workforce needs. Louisiana has an unprecedented amount of jobs that we are going to fill in the next several years, and higher education is going to have to step up, as well as the Louisiana Technical Colleges and community colleges systems to meet those workforce needs. That is first and foremost. Also, to meet these needs, we're going to have to allow more students into our technical college and community college systems through enhanced enrollments and getting them a pathway to higher education in our four-year universities. We see that as a real primary goal. There are 600,000 Louisianians that do not have a high school education. We're going to find those people first and try to get them better education so they can get the great job that they deserve and that Louisianians need. Those are some of the things that we want to do. We also have some funds in our professorships and our other programs, the sponsor programs that are laying idle, that we need to get some of the those things that we need to address in the future too. I think we have a great staff with the Board of Regents. They're very supportive, they're very active, they work long hours, and I'm very pleased with their efforts and look forward to working with them in the future.
Last year there was a 6-month open enrollment period. This year they're condensing that to a 3-month open enrollment period. So this is a very intense period of time that we're asking Louisianians to call, click, or come in and let us simplify the shopping experience. If your income has not changed from last year to this year, then basically you can renew without effort. But most people will want to go out and update their income to see if their eligibility for premium subsidies have changed.
Well, before I came to Blue Cross, I was in practice for 15 years as a primary care physician. So I think the most important reason to have health insurance is in this state and in most states, it's access to health care. I think it's not always easy to maneuver the health care system when you have no payment model. I think physicians and hospitals are set up to manage patients who have insurance in a much more streamlined and coordinated way. So it's about access first. And you know, Blue Cross has a very broad access of really top physicians across the state. And so Blue Cross access is really a tremendous value to people. The second thing is just the cost of health care. If you have to bear the cost of an emergency or an unforeseen illness, it can be devastating to a family, and I think health insurance offers real protection against a devastating financial calamity.
Well, we certainly have products available in every zip code and in every parish of the state. We've worked hard with our distribution and all employees across the state of Louisiana to prepare for this open enrollment period. We simply ask you to call, click, or come in, or visit our website at www.bcbsla.com, and there we will help you navigate the system and simplify matters for you.
Hi, I'm Lacey Sanchez, Miss Louisiana and Vantage Health Plan's official health and wellness spokesperson. As summer comes to a close and you gear up for back to school, it's important to ensure your child is vaccinated. Childhood immunizations are safe, proven protection against 17 serious diseases such as measles, meningitis, and chickenpox. Children today can be protected against diseases that previously had high rates of mortality. Immunizations truly save lives. Talk to your child's pediatrician to get all your questions answered on the importance of immunization.
This has been the Louisiana Hometown Network. If you have questions about this program, call us at Hometown Productions.